Hello and welcome once again to Total Bad News. My name is Aaron. This is your weekly look at all things geeky and nerdy. Let's get right to it. PlayStation announced 9 indie games yesterday, and they all look pretty good, but there's 4 that stood out to me, and I'm going to talk about them right now, starting with Worms Rumble. Yes, that Worms. Worms is back. But this time it's real time. It's not turn-based like the classic Worms. So you actually have control over the worms and you make them run around and shoot guns and shit. It's an interesting move for that series, but why not? It's been a long time since I played a Worms game. And that'll be out for PS4 and PS5 later this year. Another game they announced yesterday was Maquette. It's basically a puzzle game where you're in your world, and then there's like a little miniature version of your world on a table, but then also there's a big version of the world on the outside. And these 3 layers of world interact with each other in interesting ways, and it looked really cool. One example they showed is a key that you took out of a door, and when you put it in the small little world, it became a big bridge in your world. Or you could take it and lean it up against a wall and then use it as a bridge to get to the big outside world. It's really cool. It's a work in progress. It doesn't have a release date yet, but it is being made for PS4 and PS5. Hey, do you like bunnies? What about bunnies with like a 3rd arm that like can do cool shit? You're gonna like Fist. That stands for Forged in Shadow Torch or something. And what I just said is what the game is. Looks like a Metroidvania type thing. And that is being released on PS4 soon. The last game that stood out to me was Heavenly Bodies, which is an Australian game. And basically you're an astronaut floating in space, no gravity. It's like QWOP or Octodad. Any of those kind of physics-based games where you're controlling a character and really weirdly, it's like that, but in space. And it looks really cool. And that's coming out next year for PS4 and PS5. Moving on from the PlayStation news now to Crysis. Crysis is in crisis, you guys. As you may be aware, Crysis Remastered was coming. But some footage leaked out this week, and the response to it wasn't great. Not because it looked bad necessarily, but because it didn't really look like a remaster. It just looked like Crysis. Usually when you tell someone, hey, this is a remaster, the remaster looks better than the original. This didn't. So EA decided, hey, how about we just delay this a little bit? So that's what they've done. Crytek put out a letter on Twitter and basically said, as you know, Crysis Remastered will be coming into the world this year, and at the same time, the Crysis IP will debut on Nintendo Switch. I did see some screenshots of the Switch version, and that actually looked pretty good for being on the Switch. Crysis running on the Switch is kind of crazy. Your passion for the Crysis franchise deserves an undeniably high-quality game, and we are committed to delivering just that. To ensure that we meet that commitment, we will need to delay the launch date, all platforms, and trailer premiere by a few weeks. The features you're looking forward to are already set, but we want to take the time on polishing the game. Take the time on polishing the game. Hey, that's what they wrote. Don't look at me. You might be aware of the leak yesterday, and we want you to know we've seen all the reactions, the good and the bad, and we're listening! The extra time until release will allow us to get Crysis Remastered up to the PC and console-breaking standard you've come to expect from Crysis games. We hope you understand what we're up to, and that you stay with us while we take the time to make a few more improvements. So yeah, it's delayed a few weeks. Hopefully, it looks tiny little bit better. Just a smidge. That's all we need. It says remastered on the box, so just make it just look a little bit better. Our final bit of news this week is TV news. I know, crazy. But Comedy Central have ordered 2 new seasons of Beavis and Butthead. These guys. Remember these guys? Mike Judge is writing and producing it, as well as voicing the main characters, obviously. This deal also allows for spin-offs and specials, whatever that means. So expect a lot of not just Beavis and Butthead, but Mike Judge shows in the future, because Comedy Central also has a Daria spin-off that they're working on. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I love Mike Judge. He's fucking amazing. So, give him lots of money, please. Now for this week's game releases that I forgot to do last week. that I'm remembering to do this week. Iron Man VR is out today. It's a PlayStation VR Iron Man game. Can't get any more descriptive than that. Catherine Full Body will be coming to the Switch on July 7th. It's Catherine with some extra stuff, as far as I know. I only ever played some of the original, and that game wasn't for me. But if you like puzzle games with sexy anime in between the puzzles, go for it. Superliminal also comes to consoles on the 7th. That's a puzzle game, kind of like a Portal type thing. It's first person and there's puzzles. You get it. So that's the news for this week. What are your thoughts? Leave us some comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this week's videos. Give us a sub, give us a like, give us a dislike, give us a no sub, and I'll see you next week. Stay bad.